The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the Zeltharian ambassador opened the reinforced containment unit. Inside, coiled in calculated menace, rested a Kravesh, apex predator of the Zeltharian homeworld. Its 6 eyes gleamed like polished obsidian, each one tracking movement with predatory precision. Rows of crystalline fangs lined its maw, capable of shearing through starship hull plating. The creature's scaled hide shimmered with bioluminescent warnings: toxic, deadly, untouchable. "This," Ambassador Thelnox announced, his voice reverberating through the translation matrix, "is why humanity should never be granted frontier colonization rights. You lack the fundamental understanding of danger that keeps civilized species alive." Kaylee Morrison, the junior human diplomat, sat perfectly still in her delegation seat. Beside her, Wyatt Chen, xenobiologist and her assigned partner for this mission, leaned forward with obvious interest. She recognized that look. It was the same expression he'd worn before attempting to befriend the absolutely lethal Proximan jellywings, which had turned out to enjoy having their membranes gently scratched. "The Kravesh," Thelnox continued, "has no natural predators. It has ruled Zeltharian evolutionary development for 60 million cycles. Our civilization exists because we learned to fear it, to respect the natural order of predator and prey." The creature uncoiled slightly, and several council members reflexively moved backward. The Kravesh was magnificent. Roughly 4 meters of muscle and fang, evolved for perfect lethality. "We Zeltharians," the ambassador said, "propose that any species seeking frontier colonization must demonstrate proper threat assessment protocols. Clearly humans—" "Can I pet it?" Wyatt's voice cut through the formal proceedings. The translation matrix sputtered. Several delegates checked their neural interfaces, certain the conversion had malfunctioned. "I'm sorry," Thelnox's translator finally resolved. "Did the human just ask to touch the Kravesh?" Wyatt stood, his lean frame surprisingly relaxed. "Yeah, I mean, if that's okay. I study predator species, and I've never seen anything quite like this beauty. Those scale patterns are incredible." Kaylee closed her eyes briefly. This was either going to be a brilliant diplomatic moment or a career-ending disaster, possibly both. "Absolutely not." Thelnox's skin flushed deep purple. "The Kravesh would tear you apart. This is precisely what I mean about humans lacking basic survival instincts." "With respect," Wyatt said, already moving toward the containment unit, "I've worked with predators my whole life. Earth has some pretty impressive ones." The Kravesh's attention locked onto Wyatt. Its body tensed, preparing to strike. Every being in the chamber held their breath, or equivalent respiratory function. Wyatt stopped just outside the unit's threshold. He didn't make eye contact with the creature. Instead, he turned slightly sideways, making himself less threatening. His movements were slow, deliberate, radiating calm. "Hey there, gorgeous," he said softly. "You're stressed, aren't you? All these strange smells, enclosed space, everyone staring. That's rough." The Kravesh's 6 eyes narrowed. Its forked tongue tasted the air. Kaylee activated her emergency comm, ready to call medical, but she didn't stop him. She'd learned to trust Wyatt's instincts, even when they seemed suicidal. "You see this?" Wyatt addressed the chamber while keeping his focus on the predator. "The way its tongue is moving, it's not aggressive tasting, it's investigative. And look at the scale luminescence. That's not a warning pattern, that's stress coloration." He took one step closer, then another. "Chen, this is madness," Thelnox hissed. "Back away immediately." "The thing about predators," Wyatt continued, his voice steady, "is that they don't waste energy. Unnecessary aggression is inefficient. They're actually pretty chill if you respect their space and don't act like prey." The Kravesh watched him. Its body remained coiled but hadn't struck. Wyatt extended his hand, palm down. Fingers relaxed. He held it just outside the creature's reach, letting it decide whether to engage. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the Kravesh's tongue flickered out, tasting the air near Wyatt's hand. Its eyes studied him with what might have been curiosity. Slowly, so slowly that Kaylee barely saw it move, Wyatt shifted his hand closer. The Kravesh didn't retreat. One of its eyes fixed on his hand while the others maintained environmental awareness. Wyatt's fingers made contact with the creature's scaled head, just behind the eye cluster. He moved in gentle, slow circles. The Kravesh's threatening posture melted. Its coils loosened. A low rumbling emanated from its chest, not a growl, but something else entirely. Is it purring? The Centauri delegate's voice cracked. Thermoregulatory vibration, Wyatt explained, still maintaining that gentle contact. Feels good, doesn't it, friend? Nobody's scratched you there in a while, have they? Thelnox stared, his mouth hanging open. Impossible. The Kravesh doesn't... It's never... Let me guess, Kaylee said, standing. You've only ever encountered them in defensive situations, when they felt threatened. They're apex predators. They're always dangerous. So are humans, Kaylee replied. We've got persistence hunting, tool use, pack tactics. Our ancestors chased megafauna to exhaustion and brought down creatures 10 times our size. We domesticated wolves, apex predators in their own right, and turned them into companions. Wyatt was now scratching behind multiple eye clusters. The Kravesh had completely uncoiled, its body relaxed in obvious contentment. Earth didn't have just one apex predator, Kaylee continued. We had dozens across different biomes. Big cats, bears, crocodiles, sharks. We learned to coexist with all of them. Some we feared, some we studied, and yes, some we befriended. This is unprecedented, the Centauri delegate breathed. For you, maybe. Wyatt grinned. On Earth, we have people who cuddle with alligators, swim with sharks, and keep snakes as pets. We're not lacking survival instincts, we just have different ones. We assess individual animals, not just species profiles. The Kravesh had now positioned its massive head in Wyatt's lap, its rumbling intensifying. Thelnox's purple flush faded to pale lavender. The Council will need to reassess our evaluation criteria. Kaylee smiled. Humanity doesn't fear predators, Ambassador. We respect them. We study them. And sometimes, if we're very lucky, we become friends with them. That's not a lack of survival instinct. That's what made us survivors. Wyatt looked up at the assembled delegates, his hand still gently stroking the galaxy's most feared predator. So, about those colonization rights? The Kravesh purred louder, and for the first time in Galactic Council history, an apex predator voted in humanity's favor.